Oh, yeah, it is game day. It is game day. This beautiful hunk of mortuary scientist major next to me is the man, the myth, the legend, Tom Gozlowski. This is his show. I'm not even here. I'm not even on this show.
Don't do that.
I'm not even on this show. I saw the thing come out from my social media that like I'm a guest on this show. So like I'm like sitting there, I'm busting my ass to get here and get ready. I got Colonel Smith from News 10 saying, when are you coming out for an interview? And I'm like, I have to do Gaz's show. So getting there with Gaz, the Empire edition. Is that what we're look, he's even actually doing work. He's changing banners. I love it.
It is.
Does Mike Corda, the owner, want to come on the Gaz's show?
No. It's the Albany Empire pregame show. And Levack, this is why.
Did you see the post that went out from the Empire Facebook? The host of the pregame show, Gaz, with guest Jeff Levack. I'm a guest.
You saw it. Huh?
Yeah.
Look, you were very busy. What's going to happen today is that whenever anyone
I'm leaving, I got to go do a TV interview very soon. I'm too pretty for this.
But if Mike or your staff,
there you go.
Thank you. This is why I love this pregame show. This is going to be like no other show in the NAL.
I'm not doing any more work today. Show. I'm MC guy now. I'm no longer a president.
What's going to happen? No. Yeah, it's Mike giving you the look. You're the president of the team. What's going to happen on this show, like any other pregame show, is that if someone comes into the office, you're taking the call.
I got to work. I got to work. I got things to do.
I wrote it as guest because there's a really good chance you're going to be here for a maximum an hour, minimum maybe within the next 5 minutes. Maybe minimum than that. We'll see what happens after all of that. But I'm hoping for you to offer some insight with what's happening here on game day. And for those who are wondering, I'm in a suit. Andrew Santillo is going to join the show later. We'll be broadcasting.
Is he coming in live or is he?
He's.
Are these all people on who are like? Why
those are all taped. Those are all taped for later, just in case you jet out early. I'll have some.
I got it. 4:45. I got to be out front. I do.
You'll be out by 4:30. That's right.
A lot of things have not gone exactly right so far today. I'll put that out there. I'll say it. But what is right is Coach Manas is here, Coach Ware, Jay Rich, Sean Johnson, C-Mac, Chris McKinney. They're all ready to go. Those guys are ready. The team is ready. There's a fruit fly in the office. The team is ready. The team president is taking an ass whooping today. I'll just tell you that right now.
What can you share with us as I'm already moving the graphics around for you again? Behind the scenes, as we're hours away from the 7 o'clock kickoff. This is game 1 of the 2022 season. We're post-COVID now, knock on wood. The block party is going to start here in the next hour. Things are moving. Take us inside the mind of El Presidente.
So there's, how do I do this? All right. So first things first, if you watched SmackDown last night, the arena looks great. Everybody's doing a great job. But the bottom line is they're completely renovating downstairs. So like I get a call this morning, hey, which locker room are you in? I'm like, I don't freaking know anymore. Like it's Nate is the man who runs the arena, who I deal with every day. He'll take care of it. So Nate gets that settled. And I think Nate played a cruel little joke on me. So we got the band, the cover-ups. They got here super early because they're excited. They want to rock you guys out. They're ready to go. And Nate goes, so where's your power? And I go, Nate, you told me I was good. I thought we just run a lead from the building, kind of like what I do. Good. He's like, that's not a thing. And I'm like, well, what do you mean it's not? And he goes, where's your generator? I'm like, where's your generator? And it turned into like a kid's,
oh, no.
And again, Nate is like the most helpful dude in the world, but you got to remember too, Nate's probably hasn't been home yet. Nate's been here for wrestling and everything else. So like now it's Nate and I staring at each other with Scott from the cover up sitting there going, is it acoustic? Like, what are we doing? And, we're sitting there and like now Nate, because again, Nate's the freaking man. He starts calling people trying to get me a generator. I go, hold on. Brain fart. Jeff Levack, president of the Empire, is also very good friends with Jeff Levack, media relations director for Tech East Fire and Water Restoration, who has an entire power division. So he calls Mike Corda, who is the owner of Tech East, and he's friends with the owner, Mike Corda, of the Empire. And our boy Dylan and the crew get a generator here in like under an hour, which we can do for you if you ever have fire or water damage, need power to your home, or workplace or whatever. So now we got the power set. So we're like, let's go, rock and roll. Things are good.
I was hoping you guys all dressed up in Spider-Man costumes and then started doing the meme where just all you and Mike Corda just pointed at each other.
Pretty much. But and then like procedures have changed from last year, and by procedures I mean they expect me to actually do this job now. So just like little things I didn't know. So Sean, who heads up haspitality for this place, happy birthday, Darius Prince! Darius Prince, the birthday
Happy
boy.
Birthday, your son as well, right?
Daughter.
I'm sorry.
Man, there he is.
Get
Happy
that
birthday.
for the broadcast.
Reigning and defending offensive player of the year, Darius Prince. Can't wait to see you catch some touchdowns tonight.
3-2 today?
Hey,
right. I remember that part. All right, 2 out of 3 is not bad.
23. You're
That's not
dyslexic.
23.
He's 23 years old. You
No,
didn't know
he's
that?
not.
23 years old. Go and run against him and tell me he's not 23.
He looks 23 now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, from this angle, all of a sudden, some change. I don't know. Maybe it's a lady on the camera.
Does your daughter want to do the coin toss? All right, let me see if I can make it happen. I'm not done yet. Don't do anything yet. Let me make sure I can make it happen. Because Mike was looking for somebody, and I was like, and he actually suggested it. So you might see the birthday girl out there for the coin toss. We'll see one way or another. You're going to see the birthday girl today. I'm sure of it.
There he goes. He's back.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll we'll text that guy Mike and let him know you're ready if you want that you'll do it. Yeah. If you would, please. All right. These are my keys now. Thank
Happy
you, Ben.
birthday, Darius Prince, and his daughter who could be flipping the coin, which you just watched right here live on the Albany Empire Facebook page, guys.
We were gonna
YouTube Albany Empire. Twitter.
We were gonna have somebody look at. I'm a freaking janitor. I'm a freaking, and that's not even all my keys. I got so many keys.
Gonna hold mine out.
Do you have any?
I have my freshman college look. So that's awesome, man. So Darius Prince, ready to roll.
Do we like
birthday boy, 32 years old, ready to make some plays today.
C-Mac.
Let's go back a little bit because you were talking about right before DP walked in there about how the rules have changed for you as the president on game day. You feel like
I'm completely stressed out right now.
Okay.
Like last year, remember, I was really, really smart and I stayed on radio until the last possible minute. As I did start to take this role of president, about a little less than halfway through the season. I really don't even remember what week it was anymore. I remember getting a call from Mike Corda going, "You can say no," which means you can't say no. Because he's going to ask you for something he actually needs. And he's the guy who's there for everybody. So I'm like, all right, whatever it is, I'm doing it. Can you run the office? Sure. And then that was like a day later, he came on this show and announced me as team president, which was fun to hear. It was good to know what my title was. So this year I'm part of the planning. So now I have to do it. And because I carry myself like somebody who actually knows what he's doing from time to time, people assume it. And then next thing you know, what happens when you assume? I look like an asshole. But it's all coming together. It's basically like a duck on a pond right now. Like it's like this for everybody else, but underneath we're just going. We're going.
I don't want to do power rankings of what's stressing you out the most because that would just be evil. But I do have one question about one type of assignment, big obstacle, whatever you want to describe it with, of what maybe Empire fans are most excited about. Besides kickoff in the game, that's a given. Block party is a given. Let's talk about the banner tonight. Yeah. 2021's NAL championship is being rised to the rafters here at now the christened MVP Arena. Some may remember that didn't happen in 2019 because of COVID, because of changes. Empire fans cheated, maybe it might be the right term, that, hey, we wanted to see a banner get raised when a championship had won before in the previous regime and everything else. The banner ceremony, how much pressure did you put on yourself and the team to get this thing right? And are you still freaking out about how it's going to look when it goes up?
It looks great. So Elevation 10K made it. So it looks phenomenal. It's ready to go. It's going to be during halftime, and the league has been great, and the Carolina Cobras have been great because we want to extend halftime 5 minutes so we could do it. Which you gotta make sure everybody's on the same page for that. It looks great. Am I nervous? Sure. Why not? Why wouldn't I be? Because again, it's not done yet. But it is. Everything's in place. You got me, Ben? All right, cool. Ben's doing media passes. He's going down to the box office right now. If you're coming in as media, he's got you. If you need a table.
You've got a bunch of stuff coming here. I'll just offer this take on the banner ceremony for you. I'm glad it's halftime rather than before the game because we see a lot of teams, whether it be the NBA, the NFL, they do the pregame ceremony.
Hey, Jamie, will you hide these in there? Because otherwise they're going to walk away.
For the banner raising and everything else. Please. That just almost like for the players, it throws them off. Like you have a longer warm up. You kind of get all warmed up and then you wait. And then it feels like the opposing team is more fired up in that first half than the actual home team in that spot. So I love the idea that it's halftime. Second part of that is because the Empire fan base. And maybe you watching right now, you're heading to the block party. You're listening right now, you're heading to the block party. A lot of people like to show up a little bit later, although we appreciate you. I love getting good words from George Mayes. George knows what I'm going through right now. And nobody, George, thanks for warning me. A very smart idea to hold it till halftime because you're most likely to get the highest number of fans in their seats at that point.
Well, we're changing things too. So you're going to see a different intro than you've ever seen before. We're trying to do it. We want to bring more energy. We want to do it a little different. Everybody got together and, everybody had input into it. But now that we've got our new director of game day presentation, apparently game day operations is not as cool as presentation. And she's
very Gen Z, Levack. Whoa, 2022, you guys.
Listen, I have a rule in here. If you do a good job, I don't care what you call yourself. I'll call you too. And she does a great job, Carol Perry. So she's trained by George Manius and Sarah over with Firewolves, and then we abducted her. So we're very excited about that. It's going to be different. So when you're already changing something, and because wrestling was here last night, we didn't get to do the typical practice we would normally do. I'm like, I'm not going to throw another thing in there. I want that banner drop to be perfect. I'd rather screw up the open, and have the banner drop be perfect at the half, which is we're just going to drop it. We're going to say some nice things. So, we've got 4 players from last year's team. Obviously Coach Manas, Coach Ware, Coach Jeremy Richardson, who was our fullback on last year's team. So we've got a couple guys. I know Mo Ruffins is going to be in the stands. We're going to try and get him down on the field. A couple other people from the old team are going to be here. So I want to make sure that's done right. So we just moved it. You know what I mean? We'll put it by itself. And all Coach Manas asks, he's like, I have a very regimented halftime. If you can get it extended, I'm all about it. Otherwise, I'm not letting anybody come out because we're doing stuff. So Commissioner Siegfried and Coach Rez from the Carolina Cobras were all very cool about it. So we're going to do it. We're going to drop it. Everybody's going to see it. And later this year, we may drop other banners.
Ooh, okay. 2 things to clarify for those who might not know this. Sometimes when you have banner ceremonies happen, it's also correlated tag teamed with a ring ceremony. You're wearing your ring right now. I'm kicking myself. I forgot to wear mine. I know it's the first broadcast I haven't worn it for because my wife decided to spray me down with cologne and iron my suit minutes before I needed to leave for this broadcast. But anyways, with that being said, the ring ceremony already happened. So that will not.
Well, we didn't really do a ceremonies per se because in a league this size and everything, the guys scatter to the winds, after it's done. So, and if I'm being really honest, everyone was so freaking obnoxious about how fast they could get them on their fat fingers that I just got them out to them as soon as possible. Like the second they were in, we got them all packed and we shipped them out. So you'll see the rings. You probably already seen the rings around the area. But yeah, no, it's the banner. The banner is what we're going to do publicly. And we're excited about it. We're excited to share it with the fans because the banner's the fans. We don't win that without them.
And here's the other part. If other fans, maybe for whatever reason, maybe you're outside of the capital region for this weekend, you love following the Empire, maybe you just love the NAL and you want to watch this happen because it's happening at halftime, our YouTube broadcast gets to bring you that ceremony. So if you think it's going to cut away, as of this recording, we're live, that's going to happen. So you get to watch it too. Even if you're not inside MVP Arena, you get to watch all the ceremonies and all the things that come together. So you're going to host that with the commissioner. You got a little bit of.
Well, commission isn't going to be here today because San Antonio is making their debut hosting Orlando. Okay. So Commissioner Siegfried's there to welcome San Antonio to the league. So it's me. Yeah, I'm hosting it. Coach Manasel, he's very chatty with me when we get on the field together. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say.
Craig Sager, the late Craig Sager, and Greg Popovich, Coach Manas, and Jeff Levack, as we call him today, rather than El Presidente, whatever the different Spider-Man-like characteristics of you. And don't worry, I promise you during the broadcast, Andrew Santillo will be nice and quiet so we can get it right through that microphone through our YouTube channel as well. Good stuff, man.
My photographer is looking for my dance team. My dance team is getting ready down the hall because their normal locker room has been demolished.
Can I go back to something with SmackDown? You talked about the whole thing being torn up, right? Yeah. Like the field's got to get moved. The dasher boards have to get moved.
They started tearing down on the field 2 p.m. on Wednesday.
Did you have to be there to watch the changeover from last night from SmackDown to the Empire?
No. As a matter of fact, they don't want me there. They don't. I'm not needed nor wanted.
How, if at all? So if the Empire, you guys, the team, the practice, the coaches, all that stuff is being affected by SmackDown at the MVP Arena yesterday. Were they not able to practice? Did that cut a day off of practice? Did they have to move practice to move it up? Because you just mentioned Coach Manas is so focused on having that regimen, especially for game week, especially for game one. Did that at all affect how this team prepped for the week?
A little bit. So the beauty of this roster is a lot of veterans. You know what I mean? Not a lot of rookies, a lot of veterans. So guys who know what to do. Coach typically will take his foot off the gas a little bit on practice, you know, the day before a game already. So we practiced at Aframs on Thursday and Friday. And then Friday was more of a walk through, you know, get the guys together, make sure everybody's on the same page kind of thing. So it wasn't, you know, he's got this, he's like I said, he has his way of doing it. And last year, his way of doing it worked pretty well. So, you know, you even think about that one loss, which, you know, I take umbrage with. You know, we were out of our traditional way of doing things because of the Florida trip. You know, we're spending extra time in Florida between the two games, all that stuff. So, you know, if he's able to keep things on some form of a schedule that he's used to, I mean, the guys are going to be more prepared than anyone. That's just the way it is.
Love it, man. That's really good stuff. I know we got a bunch of comments coming in, and I want to make sure one thing we do before you have to head off, and I know I got hopefully for another 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah.
You want to get to some of these comments that people are writing in about the Empire?
Go?
Let's do it. Let's get some of these. We have to do them all, maybe about half.
Tommy Gross, that's my guy. With the changes made this week, do you think the Columbus Lions can compete for a playoff spot? Hello from the block party. I'll see you out there in a little bit, Tommy. If you don't know the changes, so Mason Espinoza, the reigning offensive MVP of the league, or offensive MVP, he has taken a job as a head coach. Matt J. Rich was looking for tickets. So you lose a quarterback like that. Well, now you're back to the drawing board. Oddly enough, their kicker also took off. Like as soon as it's weird, the timing of all-world quarterback leaves, and all of a sudden a certain kicker takes off for Massachusetts.
Strange.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody that's very interesting. It's going to be an uphill climb, but Jason Gibson's an amazing coach. I mean, you look at the Lions; they've been in the championship game 3 times. So if anybody's going to be able to find a way to put them in a playoff spot, I got to believe it's him. You know, and the rest of that team. He's really, really good at getting his guys to all row the boat in the same direction. So we'll see, but I wouldn't bet against him.
I would think Columbus. This is going to sound bizarre.
Do you want to hit the comments?
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, all right. Columbus is your show.
Columbus, to that really good scout report you just gave. I don't know why they feel underrated coming into this season.
They always are.
Yeah.
Well, again, you lose a guy like Mason Espinoza.
Sure.
I mean, that's, you know, I'm partial to our quarterback combination of Mike Faithful and Sam Castronova, but he's arguably the best quarterback in the league. He's arguably the best quarterback in indoor football since Tommy Grady retired. So you can't lose a guy like that and not have people think, I don't know if they're going to be as good as I thought.
Yeah, and look, that's all really good stuff. Maybe that's for the broadcast to be like, oh, it's over for Columbus. They've built a good enough roster year after year that it's not as if they thought everything was going to collapse. Will the offense have a lot of potential issues in week 1 and 2 just adjusting to that? Sure. I don't believe that all of a sudden their season's over. I'll put it like that.
No, again, just too good of a coach.
John wrote, can't wait to see the banner race tonight. Go Empire.
Yeah.
Shout out to John, man.
Let's go.
Another John wrote this. I like your refrigerator. Game time, baby. I don't see a fridge back here. Do you see?
It's over there.
Oh, I thought maybe our camera.
When we turned it to show there it is.
All right, good stuff. Shout out to our guys, Zach and Jim over at Inside the Walls. I said, let's go, baby. Zach is going to join us in about a half hour. So
he said, let's fucking go. It's LFG.
I didn't know if I want to say that on the Empire Facebook page. All right, kids. Sorry. I'll edit that out if we want. Need to get season tickets, Roger said. Yeah, what are you waiting for, Raj? Come on, man. Go get your season tickets.
Roger's that guy who gets ready all year and then goes, I don't know. I guess I can do it now.
Roger, if you want season tickets, man, the number is below here on our ticker. We shared that information. So call that number, write it down, text it to yourself, all that good stuff. John, also another question here. Is the concert starting at 4:30?
Yeah, technically it starts at 5, but the cover-up said they want to start as soon as possible, so it'll be like 4:30. Yeah.
Okay. He went back to back here, so I like this one better. And I'm going to sit on this one for a second. Mike Faithful, I know you don't want to hear this. I know probably a lot of people in the Empire don't want to hear it. And I'm probably going to get choked out by Mike Court again when I ask you.
I love how you waited till you left.
Right?
You had to go do some stuff.
How is Mike Faithful feeling about this first game? Because I feel like there's a lot of pressure, and maybe it's added from the media people like me that having such an explosive offense for the first 3 years of the franchise, really good playmakers on the outside. The Empire fans have yet to see him play, although a part of the Empire team in 2018. Yep. I feel like arguably he is the player now with the loss of Mason Espinoza for Columbus. No player in the league is under more pressure than this guy, but everyone seems to be blocking that shot for me like Dikembe Mutombo and waving my finger.
Listen, if you saw Mike Faithful today, you would say that guy is nervous. That guy is no, he looks like he looks like a heart surgeon. Like he's out. He was at, we were talking earlier today. Like, as a matter of fact, he's considering selling his car, and I want it. He's got a Camaro, black on black Camaro that I want. And there's a chance the price is about where I want. So like we were giving each other a hard time about his car today. Like this is a guy, and he played at UCLA. He won a championship with Jacksonville. What's up, Jim, inside the walls? This is what he does. He is a different quarterback than Tommy Grady. He doesn't bomb the ball down the field as much, but when he does, it's a nice pass. Led the NAL in completion percentages last full season, stuff like that. This is a guy who can go out there and handle business. Don't sell Sam Casanova short. I have a feeling you're going to see a little Sammy Casanova out there at some point tonight too. I do. I just feel like the two of them have a very interesting skill set. I know Coach Manas, he's got something, as he likes to call them. He doesn't do trick plays. Him and Coach Ware, they don't do trick, they do gadget plays.
Gadget, all right.
Gadget plays. So don't be shocked if you see some gadget plays today for the Albany Empire.
Ooh, I want to ask a follow-up, but I'm gonna.
You can ask. I'll just tell you to F off.
All right, Sam Casanova. The reason you think he's going to play today is because of a fatal injury, or because he's that good in camp leading up to this that he just deserves to be on the field?
They're different quarterbacks. They're both good.
Okay,
they're both good. Yeah, they're, and I don't have to comment on injuries, so I won't.
I tried my best. I did what I could. No, I get that point. Casanova, the scouting report on him, I remember last year he had so many fans come up. There's Coach Ware right there doing his thing. He's getting a lot of love in the comments right now. Shout out. Yeah.
How can you not?
Yeah. Casanova was really good. So just hearing potentially he's going to get on the field is going to be a really good, huge weapon for the Empire to use against Carolina in this matchup. So yeah, to have a player like that on your team and potentially using whatever it might be, whether it's just a matchup wise or a gadget play, that's really good stuff for the Empire. That's really exciting to hear. Yeah, you know what? I want to ask this question.
By the way, we're live from the Albany Empire offices here at the MVP Arena. I don't know why I'm William Shatner now.
Steven is going to do this for me, so you can blame Steven if he's going to get the answer out of you or not. Who are the offensive and defensive specialists for Iron Man today?
I don't know when Coach wants that released. I'll give you the offensive specialist, Mike Faithful, and then also our kicker, Mark Orozco. Those guys will not be playing defense today. That's what I'll tell you.
Orozco. Thank you for the pronunciation on that. Orozco.
That's how I said it right. I just call him Marco. I was like, Marco. That's what I do.
That's good, Steven. Nice try. I'm going to try that as well. For the broadcast, I'll probably get that before because you can't let that know.
I think it's official. It's out already. But I just listen. If I'm the one who puts it out a little too early, I'm never gonna hear the freaking end of it. And Coach and I love each other. We're brothers. Like, that's what we are. But we see the world very differently, which makes us fun to work with. But at the same time, like when we see eye to eye, it's like everybody else kind of gets out of the way, which is great. But I've trained him now that I piss him off as much as I can as soon as I get in the office in the morning, and then the rest of the day is easy. You know what I mean? So I don't want to do that at 3:53 on game day. I do not want to piss that man off. That's not
good.
That's not the way to do it. This is you've seen how he is on halftime with me already.
Yes, I do.
I'm just remembering everything I have to do today once the game starts. Like, I forgot I have to do a halftime interview with the coach.
You have to do all these things while you're getting peppered with questions by your broadcaster hours before kickoff.
Can you imagine that? Like, if you're the head coach and you get to tell the team president to F himself at the half every time and you're on a mic, so it's like, whatever. It's like, hey, it's part of the gig. What are you going to do?
That Big Poppy is the last one in sports I can remember memorably dropped an F-bomb with the mic in his face.
Well, he wouldn't actually. Coach would never swear in front of everybody, but he would tell me he wants to kick my ass in front of everybody. He would. So, yeah. Did you see Steven? Fine, keep your secrets. I told you two people weren't playing defense. That's what I did. I helped. I did.
I know I've been throwing a lot of questions at you, so I kind of going to set this up as a question, but if you could offer me advice, it would be appreciated here as well. Look, with this change to Iron Man for the broadcast, there's going to be a lot of fans who are watching on YouTube today who might not be familiar with how this is going to change the league or change matchups. Hell, you probably don't see Iron Man style football unless you play it like a Class B, C, or D level in New York State. And I say that because of roster sizes and just straight out athletes. Like, if your athlete's a quarterback and a DB, you want them on the field at all times. From a broadcasting sense, we just shouldn't chase after who's the Iron Man. Like, oh, there he is. Like, I don't want this to turn to Where's Waldo. Or
well, it's not really Waldo. Like, see, that's the thing is, like, I was having this conversation earlier today with a friend of mine. She's like, I can't wait to see how different it is. And I was like, how much attention did you pay to the way the game was played or who was playing what position? And she's like, I don't understand. I go, because the game is not going to be all that different. I'm going to answer him on the air.
Let's do it.
I think it's set up. Yeah. Darius, you're live on the podcast. Hold on, let me put you through here. You're live on the podcast. What's going on, bud?
Not much. I got the A-OK. We're good to go.
Okay, so she's doing the toss?
Yes.
What is your lovely daughter's name again?
Mackenzie.
So Mackenzie Prince is going to be honorary captain tonight as part of her birthday.
All right.
So doing the coin toss. You heard it first from the reigning and defending offensive player of the year. You ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to go, man. About to go in here and, put my music on and start to get ready for the night.
All right, we're ready, man. Happy birthday to you, my friend, and we'll see you down there.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. See you guys soon.
There he goes, Darius Prince. That's neat. That's kind of cool. Right away. I love this too. Let's get it, Prince. Absolutely. This is gonna be a hell of a thing. You're like the plays themselves. I don't think you're gonna see a monumental difference in the play, right? So you're screwed. Like we have a saying here in the office. It's a Mike Quarter original when he has to give you bad news. I'm good. You're bleeped. So like we as fans, we're good. You as an announcer, you're bleeped because the plays are going to be the same. Like Coach Ware's offensive mindset isn't going to be that different. The defense is going to look a little different this year because it is actually Coach Minaj who is the defensive coordinator. But the difference is going to be who's out there and when they can be out there. So like you're going to have to watch these things and go, I don't know. Let's. I thought Kenneth Magruder was already. I thought he was already out for this quarter. Stuff like that. Like, you're screwed. You and Andrew Santillo trying to keep up is not going to be easy.
Prepping for this game, I've prepped like 2 different nights, and I'm going to prep before as well because I'm thinking like, okay, what's the right way to tackle this thing? Is it what you said, chasing down the Ironman? Because especially in that fourth quarter, who's just tired? Like, where's the matchup? Right. Who's actually going to get the ball likely to their side, and who is going to have this happen? So I could play that angle. We could play just like almost like a bad analogy here, but like a game show. Like, who's coming through door number 1? Wait a second. Here he is, by God, and then the Austin music hits and everything else. I could play it like that, or what I'm leaning towards right now, a few hours before the broadcast, is just let it happen. So like if a player makes a big play on defense and you just see his numbers, like, okay, that's who it is. Like if you just let it happen, I think that's the best way to play this, especially game 1, because when we get into like June and July, you're going to have an idea of who the guys are going to be across the league who are playing both offense and defense and what their impact can be and how good they are. For fans, I'm glad you set it up like that for fans, because fans are just here to have fun and hope their team wins. And if it's a player making a play on any side of the football, they're like, okay, our best football players get to make football plays. That makes a lot of sense. Like, why wouldn't?
Well, I think it'll be. I almost feel like it'll be more of an after the fact thing. So, like, let's say Lenroy Naismith. So you're watching him play defense, like, oh, dude, I love watching this dude play defense. And then all of a sudden, you're like, who the hell caught that touchdown on the next drive? And they go, is that freaking Lenroy? Like, I think that's kind of where it's going to kick in. Like when it's Darius Prince or whoever who you watch catch touchdowns, all of a sudden make an interception, or when it's Kenneth Magruder who you're watching make these big plays on defense, and all of a sudden he's running the football or something. And by the way, this is my way of telling you that I'm not telling you who the specialists are at all. It's like I think that's where it's going to be like, holy crap, that guy can do that too. I think that's when you're going to see it, and I think that's when these guys are going to really, really love this. Like when you got a guy like Nick Hague who's played linebacker. Hey, can eventually we're gonna have to make copies of these and get them to the media. So if you just want to make like 10, 15 copies of that, thank you. I need that one back when you get a chance. It
looked like an important piece of paper, by the way. He just handed off. I kind of should have leaned over. That looked important. Yeah, that's right.
You were already here.
Oh, all right.
You were here first. You got one before anybody else. But like it's just I think that's where those guys are going to love it too, because these things that they haven't been able to do in a while. Like I know that like if Inside the Walls, love those guys. Did a great interview with Commissioner Siegfried. I love hearing Commissioner Siegfried talk about Ironman football. He gets hyped up. He starts talking about Darius Prince as an offensive specialist and everything like that. And there'll be games 100% offensive player of the year. He's going to be an offensive specialist once in a while. Watch Darius fight his ass off to play defense, because dude can D up. he can play defense. So, will it be tonight we see it? Will it be next week in Jacksonville? It will be the week after in Orlando. It won't be the bye week. It won't be that. But like, you're going to see it. And there's going to be guys like, again, Nick Hague, he played linebacker for the Colts. He was with the Giants. That dude would love to get in, drop a hat and try to play fullback. Like, there is something cool about it. And I think you're going to see a lot of these people jump right into it.
Well, let's sit on Nick Hague here for a second, because
I don't really want to. He's a nice guy, but I don't look at him like that.
What's probably really hopefully fulfilling for you now in your new role as the president is that not only do you get to do these responsibilities that are stressful, but you get to spend a lot more time with the coaches and players. You actually get to know them, not just for the box score stats and all that other stuff, not just from the media side, which was your past and still forced into it by me now and everything else, but you actually get to learn about these guys and get to know them. And I think one of the most exciting things, this is my prediction for the 2022 season, is Nick Hague in particular is going to be one of the most popular athletes in the Capital Region.
I think so.
Because of a few things. That personality he has that he's shown off already, the passion he plays with on the field. You've described this before as the guy you hate, but thank God he's wearing our uniform now.
Right. If he's somebody else's laundry, he's the one that you're MFing, until you get kicked out. If he's in your laundry, he's the one you're like, here comes Hague. Like, it's just he's a captain.
Yeah, and
by the way, it's one of the 5 captains.
No doubt. And from the X's and O's side of it, he seems like going into the season the most likely to have the big play of the game. You need a turnover. You need an interception.
I think big hit.
Yeah, big hit.
Like, if a
fire
team
the crowd up.
If a team is dumb enough to try and run up the middle against us, there's gonna be a whole lot of Hague coming at them. Whole lot of Hague. I think I'm in my humble opinion.
And look, we get turnovers, interceptions, and fumbles are obviously a huge part of football and when they can change the momentum of a game. But it's still hopefully understood, I think, by Empire fans, but hopefully across the NAL, that a turnover with such a high-scoring game could potentially be a 2-possession swing. You get the ball back, and depending if it flips to the half or depending on where the field position starts for the next, we're talking about potentially 2 touchdowns can swing with a play like that. So I'm so excited to watch not just the impact he personally has on the field this season. It starts with game 1, but I hope our crew on our broadcast side zooms in on some of these celebrations. I hope they get him flying into the Empire crowd and the party zone and everything else, because people are going to leave MVP Arena and be like, who the hell is that Hague guy? Like, I don't know whether to love this guy, be afraid of him, buy his jersey, interview him, follow him on social media. All right, Nick, there's a lot of hype around you, so I think they just covered everything for you. So best of luck today, because there's going to be definitely a spotlight on what you can do. And I know you're rooting for him as well.
100%.
Sure.
Like, to be honest with you, like, what we're going into this year with, I don't know anybody I don't like on this team right now, which is when you've got this many people, this many alphas and everything running around, you'd expect to be like, well, not that one, whatever. But like, I think I've pissed off Antoine Grant a little bit. Like, I think I got to him a little bit.
Why?
Yesterday.
What happened?
Well, because I do my normal joke, right? So, like, all last year, Darius Prince, right? The last time the championship had been won before last year on the field here at the MVP Arena, he was on the wrong team. That was Grant last year. You know what I mean? So, like, I said something to him, and he kind of looked at me. He's like, don't do that. Like,
don't play with me like that.
And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. We ain't boys like that yet. Okay, all right, that's fine. I get that. Like, we'll get to know each other a little bit better before I start busting on you, but it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when. But no, it's a great group of guys. It really, really is.
When he signed, what did I call you? Texted you? I immediately got like, how did no one have him on his team yet? Like, how did no one get Antoine Grant back from 2019 when he was
Big Grizz, by the way.
Big Grizz. He wants. I'm
Big
putting that in my
Grizz.
notes right here.
Big Grizz.
Big,
get it right, please.
If you guys hear Big Grizz on the broadcast, you know where you heard it.
This would be a fun
Big
game. Anybody want
Grizz.
to send me names you want me to tell guys that aren't real for players? That's a real one. But
the comment section right now, Twitter, Facebook, and
imagine?
YouTube, just put in fake nicknames that guys we're going to sneak into the broadcast, like Adnan Verk used to do.
Yeah. Please. Nick Hague wants to be known as Little Woolly Farts, if you don't mind. No. Yeah. No.
Tangira, right? Adnan Verk used to do on home run calls in baseball. Antoine Grant, because he was so good for Atlantic City in 2019, and in 2021 he had a breakout season, and there were times on the field I'm like, is somebody going to guard him? Like, is somebody actually going to get in this? But it wasn't so much about that. It was about just how good of a player he is. He's got a great story too. He's one of my guys I was prepping through for the broadcast today. Delaware, then community college, but tore it up. One of the best players at the junior college level. Then Western Kentucky, quick cup of coffee with the Browns. Then goes to Canada, that AC, now with us in 2022.
Yep. And you want to know how you get Antoine Grant? The people who are out there in the block party, the people who are going to be rocking in the stands, the fans here are what it is, because you play against us and you want to play for us. So there's like, unless you're an anti-hero who likes to be booed, you want to play for Albany. You want to be a part of this. And then, this don't hurt. This kind of helps.
Can we still hit this? Is it still available?
Yeah. I want to hear that on defense. So when our squad's on defense, I want this from everybody in the arena. From my surprise that I showed you yesterday is going to be here at 5:50.
It's so surprising. Even when I talked about it with you, I didn't realize how good the surprise was.
You didn't realize it was real.
I didn't.
I thought it was a joke.
Oh, okay.
No, we're trying to we're just doing different things. We're having fun with it. Like, I realized that, and Matt Woods, the VP, Mike Quarter, the owner, they love to abuse me because I get stressed out when things don't go perfect. I'll say this out loud, even though I won't live this way. I know this isn't going to be perfect tonight. But I know it's going to be great. But I want it to be great. So I'm like, if it's not going to be perfect, I might as well try all the new stuff tonight and see what works. Throw it out of the wall and see if it sticks. So new entrants, new banner for the championship. All the good stuff is going on. And I just noticed that there's a little light rain outside, but it's supposed to be clearing up just in time for the actual block party. So,
well, Levack, that transparency you just talked about, there are a lot of people in sports, whether it be at the NAL or just any type of league, that you're willing to say, hey, this is game one. This is everyone from the team, from the coaches. We all want to improve from game one. And that goes for your staff as well. That, look, if you're an Empire fan, supporter, watching on YouTube, going to the block party, I think you want to hear from the Empire Nation. I know they're calling themselves on Instagram as well, that, hey, if you get an email, a tweet, a text, there's so many different ways.
By the way, that's weird, by the way. Like, okay. I think we're one of the few teams that doesn't need, like, you're like the fans, you're the Empire.
Yeah.
Like, you're just, like, other teams need, like, the Raiders need a nation. It's not like, hey, we're all Raiders. Like, well, no, I ain't stole none. I'm not a pirate or anything. But like you are the Empire. But if you want to be Empire Nation, rock and roll, go for it. Whatever you guys want, we'll do it, and then we'll make it loud, we'll make it proud, and we'll get crazy with it.
You just didn't like it because the Red Sox with that as well.
Well, it's the Raiders. There's one nation. It's Raider Nation. They were the first to do it. That's it. But since I'm a Raider fan, I will allow the Empire to do it. I'll allow it. But the Red Sox should get their ass together.
If you're a part of the Empire Nation or some other affiliated type of group, you want people to reach out to be like, all right, what'd you love game one?
Yes.
Like, what did you
1,000,000%?
Like, that's a huge, that's the part I love about this league, where whether it goes for the commissioner, whether it goes for coaches, there's something that is really fulfilling about non-traditional media. There you go. Scratch off your bingo card for me saying that during the broadcast, of people being able to connect with the players, coaches, and executives. Have, hey, this is what I loved. This is what I didn't like. This is what I hope you guys can improve in the future. Whether it's something as the concert, block party,
well, it was weird.
I
saw a comment on one of the things last night that, like, the tickets have become too expensive. So I was like, I messaged the guy. I commented. I gave him my email. It's because we went out of our way to, some of them maintain the level. Most of them are discounted. Season ticket holders, I'll tell you right now, season ticket holders got over 15% off. So I just asked him to email me because I wanted to know what the prices were. Like, is he talking about back when we were the Firebirds? Well, I can't give you 1998 prices. I can't do it. I'll try like hell. I don't know anybody else giving you a $10 kids under 12 ticket out there. I don't know anybody else letting kids under 5 in for free. Like, we're doing what we can do to make this affordable and fun for everybody. The party zone, you got discount beers in there. You got free food, like burgers and dogs to go with everything. Now, the field suites, those things are next level. Like, there's a premium price on that because it's a premium experience. Well, that's like wait
a second. Hang on. I don't mean to cut you off. Did you do that on purpose?
What?
Did you do what you just did on purpose right there? The Supreme experience with a comment we just got.
What? Which one?
Read the comment.
Oh my God.
That was such a pun.
No, I really didn't. I said premium. I didn't even say Supreme.
Oh, okay.
But that's our guy. That's our guy. Is that our actual guy?
That's right. It is our guy.
DJ Supreme, who, if I'm not mistaken, still hasn't gotten his 2019 ring, George. But he's actually, I think he's back in Baltimore now. I love that guy.
I hope Supreme is watching right now, because I have an issue with Supreme, and we'll get back to the Empire in a second. But I just want to share this picture real quick. That is T. Morant. Let me pull that up real quick. That is T. Morant here on the far right in the top right corner of our screen. That's Supreme. Supreme is Ja Morant's dad. All right. I know it's him. Supreme, I want you to confess that you are the father of Ja Morant, because Usher, T. Morant, and DJ Supreme are the same person. I'm convinced of it. All three of them are the same exact guy.
Are you saying they all look alike?
Look, they all got the same
You're saying
look.
they?
No.
Is that what you're saying?
They got the same haircut,
We know what you're saying,
which is like a shaved head, but like a really good lineup.
Yes, we know what you're saying.
Really good looking beard, well-shaped head.
I know what you're saying. They all look alike. I get it.
T.
I get it.
Morant,
I hope you're proud of yourself.
Usher,
I hope you're proud of yourself.
Supreme Experience. Those are the same people.
Supreme's the man. Well, and Supreme's cousin, Cameron Maven.
That's right.
Yankee great. Right there. I love.
He's
that
doing
guy.
a great job for the broadcast, by the way. He's doing a nice job.
Yeah, even
No,
Supreme.
no.
Where are we going here, guys?
Don't buy into his nonsense. You know better than that. Stop
so
it.
Much. I miss that dude so much. I hope all is well.
I thought I missed him. I don't know.
Well, yeah. So we know you think all ginger are the same person. I just didn't realize that translated into other things.
They're all very good-looking people. I'll say that. T. Morant.
There you go.
DJ Supreme, and Usher. I thought it was a compliment.
The best part is I know Supreme is laughing his ass right now. Poor Matt Woods is running around like a crazy person, make sure everybody has their tickets for the great experience here. Why are you wearing a suit, nerd?
Levack, you're almost done with me. I want to make sure before we do let you run around and be the president. And actually,
I don't want to be the president.
Do you want to shout out anybody today, like Techie's Fire and Water Restoration, any fans, anything going on today?
I know Cindy Martin's going to be there. Hal. Our guy Hal from Fox Automotive, I know he's ready to go. I can't wait for our friends from Standard, presenting sponsor of the entire season for the Empire Standard. They're going to be here tonight. I can't wait for them to see the game and see how crazy we can be and how much we can do. So I got Supreme. See, he forgives you for being a jackass. He does. Glad to see you guys are doing well with Empire. He forgives you. He does.
Thank you, Supreme.
But no, it's just, I want to shout out everybody. Like I know this has been it's been crazy. We got the magnets, the schedule. I'm going to take some more out front. We were doing the first 200. I spread those out throughout the entrances so that everybody would get a chance to get them. Maybe I'll get some more out there. I'll see what I can do. But the block party is amazing. Cover ups out there. They're going to start playing any minute now. Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to you and Andrew Santillo. I hope you guys are ready for a whole different experience. I don't know. I'm at the point right now where I'm trying to switch up from the guy who's frazzled and trying to make everything work back here to the guy who just can't wait to run around the field and yell and scream and have fun. Or as Jordan, who used to be with the Empire, is now with the Firewolves, said, windbag, I believe is what he called me.
Windbag.
The loudmouth windbag.
Whoa,
yeah.
Jordan.
Yeah. It was said with love. It was said with love. It was said with love, from what I understand. Doors 6 o'clock tonight, Troy. 6 o'clock doors. But the block party is about to start any minute now. So just get it.
I love the idea of Troy wanting to be there when the doors open, man. That's got a very cool like theme park ride feel to it. The door dropper, the rope dropper, right? You're there right when
because they want to make sure you get the magnet schedule. It's a cool way to keep track of the entire season.
Sorry to cut you off there, but one thing I want to make sure I clear up here.
And the MVP, they got the bang sticks, by the way, too. So we can get really loud. Everybody, it looks like I got enough for everybody, to be honest with you. They got cases and cases of those. So
living in a post-COVID world, I know one of the things that people loved about
in a post-COVID world
indoor football was that following some games, fans, season ticket holders, even season ticket, single game ticket holders were able to go on the field. Is that still going to be part of it this year?
Are you referencing the Apex Entertainment autograph session? By the way, your flashlight's on that. Yeah, the Apex Entertainment autograph session. So the guys will have the Sharpies. They'll be ready to sign whatever you want to sign. We'll give them. It's going to be about 30 minutes because you got to get the guys back in so they can shower and go. Hopefully celebrate a W. So yeah, no, it's here. We have zero restrictions at this time. If you are, I believe if you're unvaccinated, they still would like you to wear a mask, but that's be smart. If you're sick, wear a mask. Just so nobody else gets sick. There's people who work in the building who wear a mask today because they're exhausted from last night and they just don't want to. They want to make sure they're not sick and spreading illness. It's kind of interesting that this like level of courtesy we never would have reached without COVID. But like there is people who are now being courteous. Yeah. Remember when we were on a plane coming back from Miami and the lady was sitting between us in a mask and you were we both were like nerd. Look at this nerd. And then it was like 2.5 weeks later we're like, oh, that chick was right. She was not dumb. But no, it's just we're ready to go, ready to party, have fun.
Yankee PA announcer Bob. Go ahead. Yeah, that's a nice one.
That's Alec. You guys will always be the best radio duo.
Well,
I mean, it's Gaz's show now, so I'm Robin to his Batman now. So.
Alec, you set me up very well there. So did Levack, because on the field, on the dasher board, the Levack and Gaz dasher board, man. Very appreciated. Very cool stuff. I did not put
the picture.
I'm saving the picture because, like Bob Shepard for the Yankees, if you know the story, Bob Shepard was the legendary number two. They're butchering the great impression there, but he was legendary for not only having that voice, but getting out of the Yankee game faster than anybody else. He had his quickest way to get out. And Levack has done enough events with me that I don't know if it's Bob Shepard but it's pretty close. Of once that number hits that I'm out.
Yeah. That used to be me. I miss those days. I got to do 60 other things now before I can leave this building. Everybody sees me up here. I look like I'm just staring off into space by the end of the night.
I'm definitely not only staying around a little bit longer tonight, but I will go down to that field and I will be taking a picture next to the sign. So if anyone sees me being cheesy or lame or taking this, I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that the Albany Empire and you and your team, probably more you on that one, that we're able to make that happen. So that support is awesome. It's one of the coolest things in my career. I'm not even joking about that.
Be honest
really
with you,
cool.
that was Mike Corda.
Thank you, Mike Corda. That's very cool for you.
Because I said just give it to Godzilla Media, and he was like, "F that." No. Well, no, we were we have a lot of great sponsors on the Dashers, and the Dashers are new this year. The Dashers look different than they've ever looked before. Again, you know me. I love, if it's my idea, I will 100% tell you it's my idea. It was Mike Corda's idea. He wanted to do something different with the Dashers. He collaborated with our good friends over at Elevation 10K, and they came up with a very new, very Albany Dasher board theme. So get ready for a whole new experience in there. Everything is new. Everything is different. We're fired up about it. For people who were I know people were it was weird because last year with the way 10 days put together a team, everybody thought there was going to be all brand new stuff. We had a lot of time to put this year together. I dicked around for a lot of it and should have done better. But it's very different. New football, new uniforms, thanks to our friends down in San Antonio. All new. Everything's new. Everything is different. And we're ready to go.
Just to Alex's comment as well, Levack and Gaz, available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. That's going up on our social media pages as well.
Does this count as Levack and Gaz?
Yes.
Or is this Gaz and Levack? I think this one is Gaz and Levack. The good shows are Levack and Gaz. Anything that you don't like is Gaz and Levack.
Fresh
fine with that.
Episodes every Tuesday, and then
fresh and so clean.
Weekend. This week we've got a Tuesday episode coming out here from MVP Arena, and Thursday NFL Draft Party. Really cool stuff with that.
How's the beard look? My boy Duke's barbershop.
Yeah, it looks real good.
You can polish a turd. It can happen.
Levack, you're good to go, man. I've gotten more than I thought.
Kicking me off your show?
I'm not kicking you off.
Kicking me off your show? Fine.
I've seen about 5 people look for you.
Do I need to? I can close this, right?
No, let's do this just to make me feel safe. Let's leave your laptop off.
All right.
For those who know the show, let's not get that confident like tech. Thank you, my friend. Best of luck. I'm so excited to follow you and call the broadcast today. While you get situated, I want to tell you about our friends over at Northeastern Insurance. Yeah,
you're going to have all notes that you need.
Are those mine?
No, these are mine. But you're going to get very similar stuff. So you guys, you and Santillo have plenty to read, plenty to do. What?
I saw the colors and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure this out.
Oh, this is just timing stuff.
Okay.
It's fine.
So we'll have reads during the show. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to give you stuff, whether or not you can read it. Question about the rule. Hold on a second.
Okay. Yes.
Let's see what this question is. I have a question about rules for the NAL. Can teams trade and sign new players at any point during the season? There is a deadline late in the season as far as trading goes, but it's pretty much most of the season. I gotta be honest with you, the exact date escapes me at the moment, but the majority of the regular season you can in fact still make trades and sign people.
Signing is not that rule of a deadline for signing that happens across all professional leagues. Signing is because of injuries and potential contract.
But even that, they've got to be available. You can't, if let's say Carolina is out of it at the end of the year, just because that's the team that comes to mind. They can't release somebody and we sign them right away. There's a point where the rosters do lock, but it's not till late in the season. Is that okay?
That works. All perfect, right. Man. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We're going to send this over to
Go Empire.
The other half of the Empire broadcast team, Andrew Santillo, is scheduled to join us along with Zach Keilman from Inside the Walls podcast and NA.
I muted you because I'm not on the show and I don't care anymore. That's the ultimate sign up. But before we get to more, I dropped the mic. Pregame show. We want to tell you about our friend Jared Lozier over at Northeastern. Jared Lozier is going to help you save some cash here in the spring. 2022. Maybe you're finishing up your taxes. Maybe you did your taxes and thought, can I save some more cash? Jared Lozier can help you do it no matter where you live. Give him a call. 518-956-3758. 518-956-3753. Thank you. I think I said 8 there the last time. I saw you moving around. 518-956-3753. Jared Lozier. Here, it's easier way to remember. Email him. JAREDL@nemail.com. He's a huge supporter of the Empire. He's giving the shout out to the love on social media this week as well. Jared Lozier, Northeastern Insurance, whatever it might be, your small business, your home, your car, guys, girls, whoever you want to save cash this season, send that info over to them or keep it for yourself and you'll be good to go. Jared Lozier, Northeastern Insurance, helping you save cash here in 2022. The Albany Empire pregame show continues to roll on. We're going to toss it over to Andrew Santillo. He's going to join us. We talked earlier this week on this upcoming game.
My partner for the broadcast on the YouTube side, Andrew Santillo, joined pregame before the pregame show in just a few hours. So a little tease for what you can expect for the broadcast. And if you're heading to the game, you're going to hear your own pregame show right now. So, Andrew, prepping for the game, let's do this because you and I, fortunate enough to be a part of the championship season in 2021, prepping for game one of the 2022 season. What's caught your eye? What's got you most excited about kickoff in just a few hours?
Sure. So, with the leagues especially like the NAL, I mean, you're looking at rosters, obviously all the teams leading up to the season are, they've got these great press releases about who they've signed and this, that, and the other thing. And this guy's coming to camp. And so it's who of those guys that, the big announcements, who's actually made it to camp, who's actually made the team, and who will actually be taking the field on Saturday because, tonight, because, this is the type of league where obviously you've got your core group of players, but, everybody's trying to, figure out who that next guy is. Where's that next guy coming from? And all the players are looking for their best opportunities, right? So, you may get a guy like, for instance, the Empire did last year. They all of a sudden wound up with Malachi Jones, midway through the season. And obviously that made a huge difference as the season wore on. So really the key is like who's on these rosters. You've got guys, that on Albany's team this year that were on Carolina last year. You've got guys like Trevon Shorts, who Albany fans know. He's going to be on Carolina this year. So, it's, these guys are all looking for the best opportunity. And so it's, it's looking for who's going to be on the roster, who are these guys, and how can they make an impact? And for instance, the Empire have a number of new players, some of the captains and some of the all NAL guys from last year. A couple of them are back in Kenneth Magruder on defense and in Darius Prince on offense. Obviously, he, pretty much stole the show last year, with 83 catches. So he's going to be another guy to watch. Obviously co-captain, a guy who's been here before. So, it's trying to see who is actually going to be out there. And now, especially when you throw in a wrinkle like Iron Man, you're going to have guys playing both ways. So you're going to have guys who used to be playing offense now trying to play defense and vice versa. So, I'm really excited. There's a lot of storylines. Obviously the Empire are the defending champions, which is a great position to be in. They gave out the championship rings. They're going to drop the banner tonight. So, I mean, it's really an exciting night. And I think, there's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, the Iron Man element, it's been something that's going to continue to be talked about throughout the season, especially game one, and how it's going to test people like you and I of, all right, who made that play? They're not double numbers here like college. You don't know, it's the same guy. It feels like the first half, maybe more so than any other half, that Iron Man impact is going to be like, okay, this is the guy who is going to likely play the biggest factor in the game. Is that how you were seeing it before kickoff of Iron Man's the most important player on each team going into game one?
Yeah, I think the Iron Man wrinkle, is definitely going to be interesting this year. I mean, obviously, for Empire fans who, the NAL was new last year, the 2019 version of the Albany Empire was in the Arena Football League. So the NAL, the teams were new, the league was new. So there were some differences. The deuce was something that we talked about all last year, trying to kick through the uprights on the kickoff. So that was something that even as announcers, we were trying to get used to. Okay, they're trying to position it. Sometimes they would kick it really high so the team could get down there, but a lot of times they, especially with the Empire, they were going for those points, which were critical. This Ironman wrinkle and kind of a throwback to old AFL style football is going to be very interesting because you've got guys playing both ways. I mean, it literally is Ironman. I mean, you're going to be out there, and then you've got to just stay out there, which obviously it's a challenge to turn around and play on the opposite side of the field because, as we all know, it's a totally different game, essentially. I mean, you're now, if you're a receiver, now you're covering the other receiver, which is obviously challenging. But then you may have just driven down the field and caught 3 passes, and now you got to stay out on the field. So those are going to be, I think, the things that we're going to be trying to keep an eye on. Offensive, defensive linemen. I mean, think about how tired those guys can be after a possession. Now they got to turn around and stay out there. So things like that, I think, are going to be things that we're going to keep our eye on. The Albany Empire head coach Tom Manas knows Ironman football, so he'll probably be even a step or two ahead of us. He knows this style of football. He's coached this style of football before. So, we're going to be able to learn from him too before games, talking to him. So I think it's going to be something certainly that, fans are going to adjust to. I think it's an exciting thing. I think having guys out going kind of playing on both directions is exciting for the fans. There's not a lot of guys on these rosters to begin with, so in the past you've had players playing, wherever need be, somebody goes down, somebody's in the game, so, I mean, it's going to be, it's certainly going to be an interesting aspect and something we're going to have to keep our eyes on. And we're going to have to it's going to test us too, because, we got to make sure, who made that play? Was that Darius Prince just made that tackle?
It's going to be a test. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of good things on the way for broadcasting signs and great football and action and everything else. Now, Mike Faithful, we're going to hear that name a lot this season. It's been a long time for Empire fans and just Albany football fans in general that they've heard a name that's not Tommy Grady starting a football game and being the quarterback, the captain of that offense. I'm concerned that if Faithful doesn't go out in the first half and throw 5 touchdowns and it's perfect, the YouTube comments are going to light up and say, what happened to the quarterback? I'm nervous because the expectations are so high. Faithful is not nervous. Coach Manas joked around about him playing golf. He is not nervous. But from your perspective, does Faithful have to be outstanding as soon as the first half to really build confidence in his weapons and maybe even in the fan base?
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, the last year, certainly the Empire led the league in scoring. I mean, it seemed like almost every time they got the ball, they were going to score. I think they averaged 66 points a game. So, they're big shoes to fill. We all know who the quarterback was last year. I mean, Tommy Grady was, I think he was second team all NAL when I was looking back on it, which is kind of, anybody who watches the game knows he was, one of the driving forces in that championship. But I think Faithful, I mean, he's a BCS type quarterback, played at UCLA. He's been in Albany before back in 2018. He's been in this league before. He won this league with Jacksonville in 2019. So I think Coach Manas, when they signed Faithful, who he's a big guy, 6'2", 215. I think Coach Manas was quoted as saying he's a big stage quarterback. I mean, this isn't going to be, Albany's got a lot of fans. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere, especially tonight, dropping in the banner. And I think having a guy who's a veteran in the league and a veteran of being in Albany, these aren't going to be, unfamiliar positions to be in. So I think that when it comes to that, I think, he's not going to be the moment is not going to be too big for Mike Faithful. So we'll have to see. But I think, you're right. I mean, this fan base, the parts change. And we talked about that a lot last year, guys, when the Albany Empire was the same name, same team. But if you talk to Coach Manas, he said, we're a different organization. We're in the NAL now. This is a different organization that won the AFL title back in 2019. But the fans said it's the Empire. I mean, they're wearing their shirts. I mean, it's Empires. So they're, I think, the fans are going to be expecting some points to be put up because that's just what it's been the last few years, last few seasons that have been played, at the MVP arena. So Mike Faithful's got some big shoes to fill in terms of production and putting up points. But I think, he certainly is capable. And so we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, I think he's capable of doing it, though.
I'm glad our social media audience, our YouTube audience got a little taste and a little preview of what to come for the broadcast coming up. Andrew Santillo, the voice of the Albany Empire. We're a few hours from kickoff, so head over to the YouTube page, watch the game, watch it on replay, be a part of those comments. We look at the comments during the game. Appreciate the time, and we'll be talking to. We're gonna change our outfits. We'll put in suit jackets the next time you see us. So, Andrew, appreciate the time as always, man.
Yeah, and I would only say that the interesting thing, this being the second year of the NAL, this is a Carolina team that came to Albany twice last year. In fact, played in the semifinals against Albany. So you're going to build a little bit of these rivalries here. Going to start in year 2 of the NAL. So it should be exciting to have Carolina back here at Albany, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Like a one-shooter for you.
There he goes, the voice of the Albany Empire, Andrew Santillo. YouTube broadcast, going to watch. We shared it on social media, our link as well. Guys, here with you, Tom Kozlowski. If you're not familiar with that, I'll be color commentator tonight. Ryan McCarthy, my pal from No Credentials Required, the NAL writer, covers the Albany Empire across the league as well. Ryan, I want you to say hello, if you can. I got your mic on, right? Go ahead and say hello. Did I do this tech right? There you go. Perfect. I'm not ignoring you. I promise we're going to get to you. But first, I want to give some love to our friends. Look at this. I'm nailing it. Lily and David Fine Jewelers, located at the shops of Wilton off of Route 50, wherever you're listening or watching across the capital region. That is your spot to get your engagement ring, your wedding band, anniversaries, birthdays. Shout out to everybody over at Lily and David Fine Jewelers, the ribbon cutting ceremony at their new spot. It was awesome seeing the great feedback and the great support they were getting out there at their new spot, Route 50, the shops of Wilton. I know from experience, I'm not wearing the Empire Championship ring. I'm wearing my proud wedding band from Lily and David Fine Jewelers, wife's engagement ring, and more, all bought from there. Family-owned and operated business. If you're looking for that big purchase this spring, that summer, all right, where do you go? Lily and David Fine Jewelers help you find exactly what fits her style, her fashion, and more. Some of you might be intimidated by that. Comment out loud. Don't worry. They will help you. Alyssa, David, and the entire crew there want to make sure that you get those compliments for years to come, and more importantly, that she's happy. So Lily and David Fine Jewelers, located again one more time at their new spot, the shops of Wilton. And when you stop into Lily and David Fine Jewelers, tell them you heard about Gaza's story from Gaza Media, Levack and Gaza and more right here.
Yeah, what's the expression? Happy wife, happy life. You know?
That's right. See, you know what's up. That's exactly right.
From a guy who has no ring.
It's never too late, Ryan McCarthy. When that moment happens,
hello, ladies.
You better make sure. Lily and David Fine Jewelers. All right, let's send it over to one of our pals. Zach Keilman, the host of Inside the Walls podcast, covers the NAL and more. I had an opportunity to catch up with Zach. Earlier this week, we talked about what the 2022 season is going to look like across the NAL, some of the players, the impact of Mason Espinosa leaving, and more.
That's a big one.
Zach Keilman, Inside the Walls podcast.
The Albany Empire pregame show rolls on. Now, in a few hours, you're going to hear this guy roll on here. We're going to step back a little bit, maybe a non-biased to Albany Empire voice. He is the co-host of Inside the Walls podcast. Zach Keilman joins us. Zach, we appreciate having you and Levack and Jim and all. We've been talking a lot before the season. So now, welcome to the Capital Region virtually. I guess we'll start with this. The biggest story is Empire fans don't want to hear it about the NAL this season is the decision of Mason Espinosa, the reigning defending league MVP. What type of impact do you see with Espinosa now leaving the NAL for 2022?
Well, man, I tell you what, that one shocked me a little bit. You know, I know one thing with this league, players do look for other opportunities outside of the sport. Of course, you know, we aren't the NFL in terms of size or, you know, career structure, but we have an avenue for football. So, you know, Mason looking elsewhere outside of here, he's going to be taking an offense coordinator job at a college to be determined. That hasn't been fully official where he's going, but we know it's going to be that. And it leaves a power void a little bit. I know Darren Daniel is going to be going back to the Lions, so he has had some success there, you know, even pre-Mason Espinosa. But even that being said, you know, starting the season off, you have less than a week to get your quarterback back up to speed, even in a system that you might be used to. The Lions have a little bit of a task. Nonetheless, this is Jason Gibson we're talking about. I would say arguably the best in terms of players, coaches in the NAL. And I know that's something because Tom Manas definitely, I respect the hell out of Coach Manas. But I mean, Gibson just gets those guys ready to be at a playoff caliber year in and year out without fail. They'll be a playoff team, but I had him at number 2 with Mason to start the season. Our power rankings poll, we tumbled them to 4. So it definitely has been a power shift in the league. I think you're going to see him more fighting to clinch a spot rather than trying to fight for, say, home field advantage for the championship game later on.
You baited me there. You left it over the plate, so I have to follow up. Are the Albany Empire tops of the Inside the Walls podcast heading into the 2022 season?
Yeah, I did bait you there. We did say the Albany Empire are number one. However, and I'm going to say this because of the fact that the matchup for this first week is there, the Cobras are a half step behind you guys. And I think that this is your first taste of what we think might be the preseason prediction for who's going to be in the National Arena League Championship game come August. Because the Cobras, that roster's scary on paper. As long as they stay healthier this year than they did last, they'll be up right next to you guys, I think, throughout the season. It is like Rez has definitely built a good roster out there with Jonathan Bain, Zach Brown, DJ Myers, Kendrick Ings, you name it. They have NAL all team members throughout the wazoo on that roster.
Yes, this game in particular, it feels as if sometimes the Albany indoor football fan, and maybe even in particular the Albany Empire fan more recently, has been spoiled by success. When the Empire take the field, they expect to win from the AFL days to the NAL days. And you're saying game one, as we're just hours away here from kickoff, don't be surprised if you're an Empire fan of all of a sudden this team's trailing in the fourth quarter to the Cobras.
It could be. I mean, credit last year. Think about the home opener last season for the Empire. They almost blew a multi-score lead to the Lions. Now, of course, that's just the nature of the beast. This thing can flip on a dime. But I'm telling you right now, I mean, that Lions roster was talented last season, and Espinoza was definitely the centerpiece. The Cobras, much like the Empire, can lean on many elements across that entire lineup. And even with the Ironman game, I think that's going to be your biggest test, is to who plays it better. Now, I'm going to give the edge to Manas on this one a little bit. Coach Rez will probably message me later and be like, what are you doing? You know I can do this. But I'll still say that I think that, yeah, there's a possibility where you might be down a score or maybe a score and, a few extra that you might have to be sticking in with it. But that's the nature of the beast. Arena football, anything can change on a dime. But the Cobras, I think this year's home opener compared to last will be more challenging for the Empire for partially that reason alone.
It seems to be the overwhelming storyline post-week one, almost the old style of writing tomorrow's headlines today, that the impact of Ironman, how every team is going to handle these rosters and these changes and everything else. That, for me, is the most intriguing thing of week one, that probably guys on Inside the Walls and Levack and guys or everybody else, you're getting your NAL content. We're going to look back at week one and be like, okay, why did this team do it that way? This team do it this way. And it feels like for fans in week one, and maybe Empire fans or Cobra fans who are watching, that's going to be their thing the most intrigued of. Wait, Darius Prince is where? So-and-so's who? Do you feel like for fans in particular, this week one is going to be that thrilling because of that element?
We're going to get I think we're venturing into a lot of unknown and a lot of experimenting and finding out who works well in this Ironman system. Because again, we're having a lot of balance on if you start a quarter, you can go out and come back in. You have to balance who's already been on the bench. We got new referees on the sidelines. They're going to be monitoring these substitutions a lot and keeping guys fresh. It's all about who can help finish the game the strongest at that point with your roster. And so I think a lot of it is going to be experimentation and stuff that maybe we're going to have to feel this out for these first few weeks. It's a whole new ball game again. Many people haven't seen Iron Man in years. It is something I am very foreign to. I have not seen an Iron Man game on television ever in terms of live. So I'm trying to my best to analyze and catch up. We did have Commissioner Siegfried on this week for our show. He did a great job, I thought, explaining Iron Man and its kind of facets and what makes it intriguing. So I think people will like it. Thing is, though, the teams are going to we're going to see in these first 2 weeks or so, them trying to pick up and see what rotations work best. Kind of think of it as like hockey is how I've been best described. What rotations out of the gate and for giving people rest can you expect for this version of football?
We still want people to download, subscribe, rate, and review that cross-promotion we got going on this year for Inside the Walls. Another little tease for us. Daniel's something over the plate for us again with the commissioner interview that people should go off and listen to for what he gave for his thoughts on this 2022 season.
Oh, for this, I tell you what, he's very excited. He really is main thing he came across. He really wants to see what San Antonio can do. I think that's what a lot of the league is looking at because most of what has been the recent few years, we've stuck very East Coast that's the main base of the National Relay League. That's where arena thrives the best, is the East Coast side of the country. And we're now seeing a move out to at least central time zone that, Western US, that's a challenge is, A, how competitive are the gunslingers? B, how well will that market respond? Because again, these are businesses. We want to see them thrive, to keep this league also being healthy and have that number of teams at the consistent level we have here and maybe grow. And then, also to see what we can lie ahead for possible future movements out there too. Because in that same show, he did hint that they're looking at the central time zone as their next frontier to help move the league. If we are talking that, it is kind of early to talk expansion talk, I know, but everyone loves to have a little nugget thrown around once in a while. Am I right? We want to see more teams in the league. That's how it goes.
Yes, people love that. All right, let's get you out of here on this. I know you're busy. Kickoff just a few hours away. What do you like? Empire, Cobras, take us through this. I got about 60 seconds for you. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, I actually am going to say that the Empire edge out the Cobras in this one. I'm going to, again, factors at play. I think Tom Manas, his background, I think he's more adjusted for the Ironman game. I know when we've talked with him, he very much wants to see more traditional arena football come back because of his experience with it. So I give him a bit of the edge on that front, just being out of the gate. Also, the Empire, as much as I touted the Cobras, the Empire brought back plenty of their stars on the defensive end of the ball this year. Darius Prince returning is massive. Mike Faithful cannot be underestimated. I mean, it's a battle of two Sharks quarterbacks that are going to be in this game. Faithful, to me, I think has the edge over Bain, funny enough. And I think that in terms of, guys that are better two-way players, I actually am going to slightly give it over to the Empire on this, in this regard as well. A lot of Ironman elements I'm leaning in. I think even with the crowd, which, by the way, ticket sales look great for this game. Something we're going to see is the Empire have a more consistent fan base with less restrictions. That's going to be awesome. So I'm going with the home team here. Empire going to top this one. Probably give me, I'm trying to remember what I said last night. I think I said 65-60 was my final score. So we're going to see high-scoring, action-packed game here.
He's a smart man because I flipped on his Twitter while he was giving that answer if he picked against the Empire for Empire fans to say how dumb he was on Twitter. Zach Keilman, that's right. Inside the Walls podcast. Appreciate the time, man. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be talking again soon.
Good times as always, guys. Appreciate you having me on, man.
There he goes, our pal Zach right there. We're just a few minutes away from wrapping up our pregame show. 7 o'clock, the YouTube kickoff gets underway. Before we get to all of that, tell you about our friends over at Mohawk Honda. Kelly Blue Book offer going on right now. Look at that. Ryan's going to mime out the reads while we're talking about Mohawk Honda. If you're looking for a new vehicle, Kelly Blue Book offer where you can drive off the lot with money in your pocket the same day. I know from experience the 2022 Pilot EXLs, I like to say, is sitting in the media parking lot, hopefully not getting towed. Best vehicle I've had in my entire life. You can have the same bragging right for yourself if you stop over to Mohawk Honda today. Whether it's traded in a vehicle, used, pre-owned, whatever you're looking for, Mohawk Honda can find it for you. Shout out to everybody over there from Greg Johnson to Lindsay Harrigan, Kim, Brian McKenna, MJ, John and Service, and more. I can run through the list of people.
Venezuelan, my guy.
There you go. That's your guy.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
All great crew over at Mohawk Honda wants to help you. Proud sponsor of the Albany Empire as well. First downs tonight. You're going to hear Mohawk Honda, first down, and more. Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. Ryan McCarthy, NAL writer, no credentials required, host. He does it all.
Even though I have a credential right here, but my podcast is no credentials required, but I still have to have one of these to get in.
I think one other thing before we get into previewing this game a little bit more, let's reset how some people might know you from the broadcast last year, where you had that face-to-face moment with a certain player from a certain team that, dare I say, went viral with you trying to do your job and you're getting smack talked by a player.
Oh, I wasn't necessarily getting smack talked by Kendrick Ings. It was actually just a fun interaction. So I was taking pictures on the field. I'm going to do that tonight here at the arena, and he had a magnificent one-handed catch. And he turns towards the end zone. He sees me. He runs right at me. He goes, "You got that?" I said, "I got that. You got that? I got that. I got that." Unfortunately, I didn't get that picture. I got the one of him running into the end zone in my direction, and it took off from there. So nice guy though. He appreciated the pictures I took. So hopefully we'll get some more of that tonight.
17, right? 17 from the Carolina. Kendrick Ings right here. He's looking through my notes. I'm like, wait a second. I know that. So for you both as a writer, a host that covers indoor football, but your history with this goes back. You were just talking before we connected here about you remember Ironman football right here in the different named venue, pre-MVP arena, right?
Yes, this was back in when I'm old enough to remember when this place was named the Knickerbocker. And we had the Albany Firebirds. It was their first season here, and they started to take off a little bit. And my dad, who I'm sure is watching, shout out to my dad, he's watching. Also, shout out to my sister. Happy birthday, Shannon.
It's everybody's birthday, man.
I know.
Mackenzie Prince, Darius Prince, your sister.
Yeah. So my dad took us to an arena football game. One of my fondest memories of my first sports, like first actual football game, seeing it pro and just seeing the Ironman stuff. They didn't have the offensive specialists and defensive specialists like they do have now. But I remember distinctly sitting up in the nosebleeds of the Knickerbocker Arena, now MVP Arena, and just having a blast watching football. The Firebirds lost, unfortunately, but it was a fun time, and it was a blast to see just a different style of football. 50-yard field, bounce, the rebound nets. It was a different era, but it was a fun time, and it's fond memories for me.
It's going to be really interesting to watch how this develops across the season, especially game one. We've hit on the Ironman storyline. You heard Zach talking about some of the storylines he's most intrigued by, Mason Espinosa, and how that affects. Is there a storyline, something that maybe it's the same as you've already heard, that something's jumping out to you week one that you're keeping an eye on, whether it be the Albany Empire or maybe even across the NAL?
I think for me, the biggest storyline, the biggest narrative is the transition at quarterback from Tommy Grady, who's been here the last 3 years as quarterback of the Albany Empire. He's gone to greener pastures. But Mike Faithful coming back to the Albany Empire. He's a backup in 2018, for those who may or may not know. So to have him come back he's an all NAL guy. He won a championship with the Jacksonville Sharks back in 2019. He's a good enough indoor quarterback that I think the biggest narrative here is just to see him lead this team, and he's going to have a lot of weapons around. He's going to have Darius Prince, obviously. He's going to have. It's going to be fun to see Donovan McDonald, University of Albany alum, Donovan McDonald, electrifying guy.
What if I told you for game one he's going to be inactive? We just got through.
Well, now I feel silly.
Well, you meant for the season. I know what you mean, though. But they have the impact weapons and stuff and everything else.
Actually, it's funny. I read the Carolina Cobras write up on their website. They said, the Albany Empire only returned 2 stars from last year. Okay. Let me read you some of the names from the Albany Empire lineup. Obviously, Darius Prince. He's a captain of the team. He's the wide receiver. But you also bring back Kenneth Magruder, obviously. But you're also bringing in Dwayne Hollis, all-arena guy with the Philadelphia Soul. You're bringing in Harold Love, who was an Albany Empire guy back in 2018. Brandon Cisse, veteran defensive lineman. Arthur Hobbs, defensive back. Kelvin Fans coming back to the Empire after his time in New Jersey. Jared Dangerfield, Nick Hague. Just the amount of arena experience that this team has compared to last year is going to be huge, especially in the Ironman game.
Are they the best roster in the NAL?
Arguably, yes. If you're a Carolina fan watching, you'll probably say, no, we've got the best lineup.
Oh, so you think it's top 2 teams right here?
I think the
potential championship.
Potential championship teams are right here in this arena tonight.
Ooh, a little preseason prediction there from Ryan McCarthy. I like it, man. All right, so we got Carolina and Albany as your top 2 teams. You've touched on what the quarterback position could be like, all the great storylines and more. And I want to toss it back to you as a Capital Region guy as well. But halftime, what does the banner going up mean? Are you excited? Like, I feel like there's some meaning to this because it's been so long since you had this celebration of the Capital Region of a championship team.
It's been way too long since we've had a championship banner go up in the rafters of MVP Arena. It was Times Union Center when the Albany Empire won the championship last year, but now we got a banner going up, and it's a huge thing. It's a huge motivator, I think, for the team too, because I know that they'll be in the locker room figuring stuff out, making adjustments and whatnot. But when we come back out of the tunnel and they see that championship banner up, it's going to be it's a motivator. It's a motivating factor to repeat and win another championship for the city. And it's a huge thing because I consider Albany, we're the arena football capital of the entire United States. You can argue Iowa, you can argue Arizona, those are other leagues. But for my money, for what it's worth, And for legacy purposes, Albany is the capital of arena football, of indoor football. And to have the championship banner up in the rafters is going to be a huge thing.
Levack can't make a prediction because he's the president.
No, he's not.
Andrew and I can't make predictions because we're broadcasting the game. Zach made a prediction because he's allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan McCarthy, you are allowed to make a prediction.
Oh, sweet.
Do you want to? Because I feel like now, like we were just messing with Zach and say we'll put his Twitter across the board. If you don't pick the Empire, the mean tweets might be on the way. Take us through what you actually believe is going to happen and give us a prediction for the game tonight.
Well, first of all, a reminder: Twitter is not real life, so so that doesn't. I don't care about mean tweets, but I'm saying Empire wins this game, 59-50.
59-50.
It'll be a high-scoring affair. It's going to take a while for both teams to kind of get used to the Iron Man style against each other. They'll be practicing against each other, but to see it helmet on helmet against another team might take a while to adjust. But I think I've got the Empire.
I asked this naively because I don't know the answer to this, but what are you allowed to do pregame? Because what's your coverage going to be like? Shout out the handle, shout out where people can follow you throughout the game. I don't know game one within the league rules here of what you're allowed to do because I'm going to find out with you on this.
Yeah, I'm going to find out too.
If you're allowed to take video or not, right?
Well, I'm definitely taking pictures. I brought my camera with me, so to put it on Instagram, I'll give it to the player. I give it photos to the players who are very appreciative ever since I started taking photography. So I don't know, for pregame coverage, I guess I don't know. I could post on Facebook and the No Credentials Required Facebook page, but I don't know what the limits are for taking videos. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, if I post it, I'll post it. If not, no big deal. You just find my pictures on Instagram, which is No Creds REQ.
No Creds.
Or my personal Instagram, which is Who Is Ryan MCC, which is also my Twitter handle. So
Who is Ryan MCC?
Ryan.
That's right. And No Creds, that's with the S, not a Z, kids. That's with the S. Ryan McCarthy, thank you so much for doing this, man. I know you had a busy day ahead of you. Appreciate you doing that. Appreciate you watching, being a part of the show today. The Albany Empire Game 1 kickoff against the Carolina Cobras set for 7 o'clock. For Levack, for Ryan, for Zach Keilman, Andrew Santillo, and more. Looking forward to be back with you at 7 o'clock live on YouTube to bring you Game 1 coverage of NAL football. Enjoy the action. Go enjoy the block party. Catch you later.